welcome back to Simple Sacred Home. My name is Paige, and today I'm really excited to share a new topic on this channel. This is a topic that I talk about in my personal life and think about in my personal life all the time, but I've never shared it here because it's not really super applicable yet, but Lord willing, it will be in a few short years, honestly. I have an iced coffee here and I'm just going to sit down. It's nap time and I'm going to chat with you about my plans, like I said, Lord willing, and that is for homeschooling my children. So for those of you who don't know, I was going to college for elementary education. I was specializing in special education. I had been shadowing teachers in the public school system, and ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a teacher. So for a long time, I thought I was going to be an elementary school teacher. Then when I got up into high school, I really wanted to be an English teacher. And then in my early adulthood, I worked with adults with disabilities. And so I thought I was really going to lean into special education and work in that realm. And so I always, if you had asked me for years and years and years, everyone always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. And it wasn't until I became an adult, I was going to school for education, I became a Christian, I just started feeling like maybe the public school setting wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, even though I grew up in the public school setting. So then I started to think maybe I would go into like private education and work for like a Christian school or something like that. And then I realized that my ultimate goal and dream was to be a mom and a wife. And so with that, I knew that I wanted to, Lord willing, be able to stay at home with my kids. So I was really conflicted in my early 20s because I'm like, I'm going to school to be a teacher, but I don't want to work in the public school system. I want to stay at home with my kids. And at the time I wasn't married, so I was trying to navigate all of that. So I was just working and going to school, but I knew pretty early on in my college education that I didn't want to work in the public school system, but I always felt called to teach. So then I started to think, I really got into like Bible study, and obviously my faith and my relationship with the Lord became really important to me. So I thought maybe I'm going to like lead Bible studies or write Bible studies. That's still my dream one day, is to write a Bible study. That would be so cool, and have it published. But I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher, and I didn't know how that was going to fit in with my desire to be a Christian mom, wife, stay at home. And then I realized I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to homeschool. I was always really interested in homeschooling, and the older I got, the more interested I became in it. And to me, that's when it all really clicked. I was like, I think that this is what I was called to do. I think I was called to be a mom and a wife and to teach, but it was to teach my own children and to homeschool. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, a little bit of my background. So for me, it's not like I was ever like, oh, I don't want to homeschool, or I think homeschool is weird or anything like that. I've always been a fan of homeschool as early as I can remember. I've always been a fan of education and teaching. I wanted to be a teacher. And so for me, it was like a no-brainer. So for years, even though I wasn't married, I didn't have kids yet, I was already like listening in and learning as much as I could about homeschool. So I was listening to other moms that are well ahead of me in years and learning about different curriculums and different education philosophies and styles of homeschool and all of that. I've always been really interested in that. So where I'm at now is I have a toddler and I have another baby on the way. And so you might be thinking, why are you even thinking about homeschool? Please tell us that you're not trying to homeschool your 1-year-old. And no, I'm not trying to homeschool my 1-year-old, but I like to have all of my information, as much information as I can get early as I can, because the reality is that in these years of having babies, growing your family, the years go by really quick. And I've learned that already with my 1-year-old. Like a year went by really, really fast. And I think about the year 2020 and how we're already in 2026. And I feel like 2020 was like yesterday. I'm like, that's 6 years. I already would have a child. If I had had a child in 2020, they'd already be in kindergarten or first grade at this point. So it really has made me think you do have time. Don't like stress about having everything figured out right now. But also that time is going to go by really quickly and you don't want to be waiting until, or at least I don't want to be waiting until the year of to try to figure out and navigate what I want to do for homeschool when it comes to curriculum and things like that. We're very much just in the very beginning of wanting to read and liking books and liking being read to, which is all really, really exciting. And that's kind of what prompted me to start wanting to dig a little bit deeper now. And so I'm very much in the part of my journey where I'm looking at curriculums, okay? I'm not deciding on a curriculum. I have plenty of time, but I'm looking at curriculums. I'm looking at different styles of education. I'm looking at classical education as a whole. I'm looking at the general different educational philosophies, and I'm listening to podcasts. I'm reading books. If you guys are interested in some of the books that I've been reading or that I've been adding to my wish to read list, let me know in the comments down below and I can make another video with those books. But yeah, I'm very much in just trying to take in as much information as I can to decide what I think will be best for our family. And obviously, as time goes on, that could change. So nothing that I'm sharing here is like locked in. Obviously, I don't have to be locked in to any one thing. Even if you are starting homeschool or you're in the process of homeschooling your children, that's one of the benefits is you have the ability to change the curriculum if you don't like it after a year. But I will say that I am really interested in the broad category of classical education. I know there's a lot that falls into that category, and so I'm reading a lot, I'm sifting through different things, and I'm not just looking at classical. But I say all that to say that there is definitely things we can do early on that aren't actually homeschooling that can help set our kids up for that time. We went from chewing books to wanting to sit down and actually listen to the book be read, which is a really, really cool time to see that shift happen. And we're at the point where we're taking the books on our own, and obviously they're not reading yet, but they are holding the book, they're flipping through the pages. It's really fun to see my daughter get excited to read and get excited to pick out a book, and she has books that she likes more than others, and it's just really fun to see that start to emerge in her. And so because of that, I started to think about the books that I had. How was I selecting books? Honestly, truthfully, I would just pick up books that I read as a child that I can remember. People gift books, so we have those books, but there was really no rhyme or reason. I wasn't picking books because they were specifically helping my child develop at a certain age. I was just picking board books that I liked, basically. That's what it came down to. So once I started to see my daughter actually interested in reading and wanting to read, I started thinking more about like, okay, what books, if any, are classic books for her age? Obviously, as a first-time mom, as somebody who, like I said, is really trying to navigate and figure out what direction she wants to go when it comes to education and homeschool, I was looking at different like book reading lists and book recommendations for toddlers or babies. And so I actually found through Memoria Press, they have a 0 to 2 year old book list of books that they would recommend based on development, and they give you the book list and you can order the books through Memoria Press directly, and they all come in a nice beautiful package together. Or you can find those books elsewhere if you can't get them all in one shot. It is a little pricey. You can get them here and there. You can get them from the library. You can go to thrift books. You can go on Amazon, look for them when they're on sale. But I wanted to start having this collection of books that I could pull from and read to my children. I will link the Memoria Press classical education curriculum down below in case you're interested in looking at it. I've heard a lot of really great things about Memoria Press, so they're one of the curriculums that I am considering possibly in the future for my children. But like I said, very much in the beginning stages, but that is a resource that I'm really excited to look into further. Memoria Press actually also has a podcast, which is really fun to look into, especially as somebody who grew up in the public school system and didn't get a classical education. It's a really nice resource to have for myself as well. They also have this booklet on their website, which I did purchase. It was a few dollars. Simply Classical My First Words Guidebook. Faces, Faith, and Family tells you the book list of all the books that they recommend for ages 0 to 2, but it gives you some guidance on how to introduce the books to your children, what you can do to really get the most out of the books, ways that you can introduce the books and rotate the books. And I just think it's a really nice little resource. Like I said, it's only a few dollars. It's just a great option if you feel like you don't even know where to begin. So I like this option. I'll link this down below if you are interested in this as well. Over the last few months, I've gone ahead and collected the books on the list. There's 2 that I'm still waiting for to come in. So I thought it'd be fun just to share a little bit about how I'm actually using the books. So basically behind me, I have one bin that has all of the books that we've just bought, right? Books that I liked, or they were gifted to us, or books we just grew up as kids reading ourselves, and so we wanted to pick them up for our children. I have one bin back there with all of those books. And then I have a separate bin here. These are all the books specifically on the list of books to read for ages 0 to 2 for development, for classical education, and I keep them in a separate basket. I also have 2 bookshelves that hang on the wall in this playroom. And so basically what I do is I put 2 to 3 of the books recommended on the list up on the bookshelf, and I mix them in with a couple random books that my daughter really likes that we have. So for example, I do the KiwiCO Crate, the Panda Crate every once in a while. I don't do it every month. I will skip them when I don't want them, but I always add the book on to the crate that I do get. So not only do you get the Panda Crate, but you get the book that goes with it, which is also supposed to be for their developmental age, which is great. So for example, one of the books she got within the first year was this one by Ethan Long. So I have one like this. I also have baby theology books that I really like. So we have this one. This one's by Crossway, Big Theology for Little Hearts. I also really like this one. This is probably my favorite if you're going to buy a Christian book for your baby or toddler. Jesus Loves You More by Hunter Beless. Highly recommend. It's on Amazon, or you can get it on her website directly. You can probably find it a few places, but this is my absolute favorite. If I ever go to a baby shower or a birthday, I'm gonna get this for a Christian family for their baby, because it is literally the sweetest book ever, and it's biblical and accurate and good. I will put a few of these books on, and then if there's like a developmental book that came in like the Kiwi Crate, I'll put that on those shelves as well. And then I'll have 1 to 3 of the books recommended on the Memoria Press list on those open shelves as well. And for that week, those are the books we rotate through. And then I will see which ones my daughter is really gravitating towards. And when we go into the following week, I'll keep a couple of the ones that she really likes, her favorites. So I keep those in the rotation. And then I'll take out a couple that are not so much her favorites and swap them for a couple others. So each week she's getting a few of her favorites, she's getting a few new books, and we just rotate them through. This allows her to get to read books that she's really interested in. Some of them are from the list, some of them are not from the list. They're books, like I said, that we've picked out for her. It allows us to still pick up books that we're interested in as well. We're not limited to a list of certain books, but it's also incorporating that list, which I really, really like as well. So far this has been working really, really well for us. She's really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. And it's just getting me excited to learn more about all things homeschool. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I know this is a very different topic than I normally talk about, but as time goes on, it's going to become more and more relevant to us and our family. So if you are interested in homeschool content at all, please feel free to like this video and subscribe. And I would love to chat with you in the comments down below.